There are creatures on this planet that defy every law of biology we know. Creatures that shouldn't be able to survive. Creatures that science says are impossible, and yet they exist. Evolution has created some absolute nightmares. Animals that can survive being boiled alive. Creatures that are literally immortal. Organisms that can live without oxygen, without water, without a brain. Today, we're going to explore the most impossible creatures on Earth. And I'm going to start with something that already breaks the rules of life. And then it gets progressively more insane. Each creature we encounter will be more bizarre, more impossible, more terrifying than the last. And trust me when I say this, you are absolutely not ready for the final creature on this list. The one that makes every other impossible animal look normal by comparison. So let's dive into the world of creatures that shouldn't exist, but somehow do. 1. The immortal jellyfish. Let's start with something that breaks the most fundamental rule of life: death. This is Turritopsis dohrnii, the immortal jellyfish. And yes, you heard that right, immortal. Every living thing on Earth ages and dies. That's just how biology works. Cells deteriorate, DNA gets damaged, organisms break down. It's inevitable. Except for this jellyfish. The immortal jellyfish has discovered a cheat code. When it reaches the end of its life cycle, or when it gets injured, sick, or stressed, it doesn't die. Instead, it does something absolutely impossible. It reverses its aging process. The adult jellyfish sinks to the ocean floor and transforms back into a polyp. It's the equivalent of a butterfly turning back into a caterpillar, or a human adult reverting to being a baby. At the cellular level, this is called transdifferentiation. The jellyfish's adult cells literally transform into younger cells. Skin cells become stem cells. Muscle becomes nerve tissue. The entire organism resets. And then it grows up again. And it can repeat this cycle indefinitely. This jellyfish has achieved biological immortality. The only thing that can kill it is being eaten by a predator or disease. But aging, death from old age, that's not a problem. There could be immortal jellyfish in the ocean right now that have been alive for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. 100, we don't know. Imagine if humans could do this. You reach 80 years old, your body starts failing, and you just reverse back to being 5 years old and start over. It sounds like science fiction, but this jellyfish does it every day. And this is just the beginning of impossible. 2. The tardigrade, water bear. Now let's talk about something even more indestructible. Meet the tardigrade, also called the water bear or moss piglet. This microscopic creature is less than a millimeter long. You need a microscope to even see it, but don't let its size fool you. The tardigrade is the most indestructible animal on Earth. Listen to what this thing can survive. It can survive temperatures of minus 272 degrees Celsius. That's nearly absolute zero, the temperature where atoms stop moving. It can survive temperatures of 150 degrees Celsius, hotter than boiling water. It can survive pressure 6 times greater than the deepest ocean trench. That's pressure that would instantly crush almost any living thing. It can survive radiation 1,000 times stronger than what would kill a human. It can survive in the vacuum of space. No oxygen, no pressure, bathed in cosmic radiation. And it's fine. It can survive for 30 years without food or water. How is this possible? When conditions get bad, the tardigrade does something called cryptobiosis. It expels almost all the water from its body and shuts down its metabolism completely. It essentially dies. But not really. In this state, it can survive almost anything. And when conditions improve, it just comes back to life. Like nothing happened. Scientists have sent tardigrades into space, exposed them to the vacuum, blasted them with radiation, and they survived. In fact, when Israel's Bereshit spacecraft crashed on the moon in 2019, there were thousands of tardigrades on board. They probably all died on impact. But some scientists think there's a chance that a few might have survived in cryptobiosis. There could be living tardigrades on the moon right now. This creature is practically unkillable. And honestly, that's terrifying. 3. The axolotl, the regeneration machine. All right, this next creature looks adorable, but what it can do is absolutely mind-bending. This is the axolotl, a Mexican salamander that lives its entire life as a larva, keeping its external gills and never fully maturing. But that's not the impossible part. The axolotl can regenerate almost any part of its body, and I mean any part. Lose a leg, it grows back perfectly, with all the bones, muscles, nerves, and blood vessels in exactly the right place. Lose your tail, it grows back. Damaged heart, it repairs itself. Injured spine, it heals completely. Lost part of your brain, it grows back. But here's where it gets truly impossible. The axolotl can regenerate the same body part hundreds of times with no degradation. The new limb is perfect every single time. And it's not just limbs. Scientists have transplanted organs between axolotls, and the creatures accept them without rejection. They've grafted limbs from one axolotl onto another, and they just work. In one experiment, scientists removed an axolotl's eye and transplanted it onto its tail, and somehow, the eye integrated with the nervous system and partially restored vision from the tail. This shouldn't be possible. Most animals, including humans, lose their regenerative abilities as they develop. We can heal wounds, but we can't regrow limbs or organs. But the axolotl never stops. It maintains the regenerative abilities of an embryo its entire life. Scientists are studying axolotls to try to unlock regenerative medicine for humans. Imagine being able to regrow a lost limb, repair a damaged heart, or heal a severed spine. The axolotl is showing us that it's possible, and that's both amazing and deeply unsettling. 4. The mantis shrimp, the living weapon. Now we're getting into territory that seems scientifically impossible. Meet the mantis shrimp. This creature is about the size of your forearm. It lives in tropical waters, and it has superpowers that make absolutely no sense. First, let's talk about its punch. The mantis shrimp has two club-like appendages that it uses to strike prey. And when I say strike, I mean it punches with the force of a bullet. The mantis shrimp's punch accelerates at 10,400 Gs. That's over 23 times faster than a .22 caliber bullet. 23 times faster than a .22 caliber bullet. The strike reaches speeds of 50 miles per hour underwater, and the impact is so powerful that it creates cavitation bubbles. The water itself vaporizes from the force, and when those bubbles collapse, they create a secondary shockwave that can kill prey even if the punch misses. The temperature inside those cavitation bubbles reaches 4,700 degrees Celsius. That's as hot as the surface of the sun. This shrimp is creating miniature suns underwater with every punch. The force is so extreme that the mantis shrimp can crack aquarium glass. They've shattered reinforced tanks. Some aquariums refuse to keep them, because they're too destructive. But the punch isn't even the most impossible thing about this creature. Its eyes are. Humans have 3 color receptors. We can see red, green, and blue, and our brain combines them to see millions of colors. The mantis shrimp has 16 color receptors. It can see colors we can't even imagine. It can see ultraviolet light. It can see polarized light. It can see circular polarized light, which we didn't even know existed in nature until we studied this shrimp. Each eye can move independently. Each eye can perceive depth on its own. This creature has 4 eyes worth of vision, with just 2 eyes. And its eyes can process visual information so fast that it sees in slow motion compared to us. Our world would look like a blurry mess to a mantis shrimp. This creature has vision and weaponry that seem designed by an alien intelligence. And yet, evolution created it right here on Earth. 5. The naked mole rat, the ageless rodent. This next creature looks like something that escaped from a horror movie. Meet the naked mole rat. It's wrinkly. It's hairless. It has giant protruding teeth. It's basically a living sausage with buck teeth. But it's also one of the most scientifically impossible mammals on Earth. First of all, the naked mole rat is eusocial. That means it lives in colonies with a queen, workers, and soldiers, like ants or bees. But ants and bees are insects. This is a mammal. And it's the only mammal that has evolved this type of social structure. It shouldn't exist in mammals. Second, the naked mole rat doesn't feel pain. Well, not in the normal way. It lacks substance P in its sensory neurons. That's the neurotransmitter responsible for transmitting pain signals, so it can chew through concrete, burrow through sharp rocks, and live in toxic, acidic environments without feeling discomfort. But here's the truly impossible part: the naked mole. 1. Rat doesn't age. Most mammals follow something called Gompertz's law. As you get older, your risk of death increases exponentially. A 70-year-old human is much more likely to die than a 20-year-old. That's just how aging works. The naked mole rat violates this law. A 25-year-old naked mole rat has the same chance of dying as a 5-year-old naked mole rat. There's no increase in mortality with age. They don't develop cancer, ever. Scientists have tried to induce cancer in naked mole rats and failed. They don't develop Alzheimer's or dementia. Their cognitive function doesn't decline. They don't develop arthritis. Their joints stay healthy. Their metabolism doesn't slow down. Their muscles don't atrophy. They just don't age. The oldest known naked mole rat lived to 37 years old and showed no signs of aging when it died. For comparison, a regular mouse lives about 2 to 3 years. This creature has somehow bypassed the normal aging process. It's not immortal like the jellyfish. It can still die from disease or predators, but it doesn't deteriorate with age. And scientists have no idea how it does this. We're studying its genome, trying to unlock the secrets of aging. Because if we can figure out what the naked mole rat is doing, we might be able to do it too. 6. The hairy frog, the Wolverine of amphibians. This next one sounds like something from a comic book. Meet the hairy frog, also called the horror frog, or Wolverine frog. It lives in Central Africa. And yes, males have what looks like hair on their sides during breeding season. But that's not why it's on this list. When this frog feels threatened, it breaks its own bones and pushes them through its skin to create claws. I'm sorry, what? The hairy frog has a sharp, curved bone in each toe. Normally, these bones sit inside a sheath of tissue. But when the frog is grabbed by a predator, it contracts specific muscles that snap the bone and force it through the skin of its toe. Instant claws, made of bone, puncturing through its own flesh. It literally Wolverines itself. And unlike Wolverine, this frog doesn't have a healing factor. Once those bones break through, they're just out there. The frog has to deal with having bones sticking out of its feet. Scientists think the wounds eventually heal, but we don't fully understand the process. This is the only vertebrate we know of that deliberately breaks its own bones as a defense mechanism. It's painful, it's damaging, and it shouldn't work as a survival strategy. But apparently it does, because these frogs are still around. Evolution decided that the best defense for this frog was to turn itself into a living weapon by breaking its own skeleton. That's metal and terrifying. 7. The Pompeian worm, the heat-proof organism. We're getting into truly extreme territory now. This is the Pompeii worm, Alvanella pompeiana. This creature lives at hydrothermal vents at the bottom of the ocean. These are underwater volcanoes that spew superheated water. The water coming out of these vents is 400 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough to melt lead. And the Pompeii worm lives right next to them. Its tail is anchored in water that's around 80 degrees Celsius. That's nearly boiling. Meanwhile, its head pokes out into water that's only 20 degrees Celsius. This creature experiences a temperature gradient of 60 degrees across its body at all times. That shouldn't be survivable. Proteins denature at high temperatures. Cell membranes break down. DNA unravels. There's a reason most life on Earth can't survive above 45 degrees Celsius. So how does the Pompeii worm do it? It's covered in a thick layer of bacteria, a fuzzy coating of microorganisms that create a protective barrier. Scientists think these bacteria help insulate the worm and may even consume toxic chemicals from the vent water. But that's not all. The worm's proteins have special heat-resistant structures. Its cells have mechanisms to protect DNA from heat damage. Its entire biochemistry is adapted to survive in conditions that would cook most organisms alive. This worm lives in an environment that's as close to hell as you can get on Earth. And not only does it survive, it thrives. There are millions of Pompeii worms living at hydrothermal vents around the world. Entire colonies of creatures that shouldn't exist, living in water hot enough to brew tea. But as impossible as that is, we haven't reached the peak of biological impossibility yet. 8. The immortal fungus, zombie ant fungus. All right, this is it. The most terrifying, most impossible creature on this list. And it's not even an animal, it's a fungus. This is Ophiocordyceps unilateralis, the zombie ant fungus. Here's how it works. A spore lands on an ant. The fungus infects the ant's body. And then, it takes control of the ant's brain. The ant is no longer in control of its own body. The fungus grows through the ant's body, spreading tendrils into its muscles and nervous system. And somehow, scientists still don't fully understand how, the fungus hijacks the ant's behavior. The infected ant leaves its colony. It climbs a plant stem. It climbs to exactly 25 centimeters above the ground. Not higher, not lower. It finds the north side of the plant, and then it bites down on the underside of a leaf with its mandibles. And it dies. But the fungus isn't done. It continues to grow inside the dead ant's body, reinforcing the jaw muscles so the ant stays clamped to the leaf even in death. Then, a stalk emerges from the back of the ant's head. It grows upward, and at the tip, it develops a bulbous capsule filled with spores. The capsule ruptures, Spores rain down on the forest floor below, right above the ant trail where healthy ants are walking. And the cycle begins again. This fungus can mind control multiple species of ants. It forces them to become zombies. It manipulates their behavior with precision. It turns them into reproductive platforms for spreading more spores. And here's the truly horrifying part. There are hundreds of species of Ophiocordyceps, each one specialized to infect a different insect species. There's a fungus that infects flies and makes them fly upward before dying. There's a fungus that infects beetles and makes them climb to the tops of trees. There's a fungus that infects spiders and makes them spin special web patterns before dying. Each fungus has evolved to manipulate its host's brain in specific, complex ways. Ways that maximize the fungus's reproductive success, and we have no idea how they do it. We don't understand the mechanism by which a fungus can control an insect's behavior. We don't know how it targets specific neurons. We don't know how it creates such precise behavioral changes. It's biological mind control, and it's real. Now, here's what keeps me up at night. There are fungi that infect mammals. Fungi that grow in human lungs, human brains. None of them cause zombie behavior. That we know of. But evolution is always experimenting. And if a fungus can learn to control an ant's brain, what's stopping one from learning to control ours? So there you have it. 8 creatures that break every rule we thought biology had. Jellyfish that live forever. Microscopic bears that survive in space. Salamanders that regrow their brains. Shrimp that punch with the force of bullets. Rats that don't age. Frogs that break their own bones. Worms that live in boiling water. And fungi that turn insects into zombies. These creatures exist right now on the same planet we live on. And honestly, they make me wonder, what else is out there that we haven't discovered yet? What other impossible creatures are hiding in the deep ocean, in remote jungles, in places we've never looked? Evolution has created things far stranger than anything we've imagined, and that's both beautiful and absolutely terrifying. If you enjoyed this journey into the impossible, smash that like button and subscribe for more mind-bending science content, and let me know in the comments which creature freaked you out the most. Thanks for watching, and remember, the natural world is far weirder than you think.